Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Magic Arena Run. Today we are celebrating FNM at home and we actually get the best thing now. It's Historic All Access. So if you wanted to build a historic deck but did not want to spend wild cards, maybe because you got burned by spending it on Time Warp or because you're not really concerned of how expensive all those mystical archive cards are, this is the perfect time to just make a deck. Don't worry about the cards, just test them all and see if you would like it or not. Actually, I'm only gonna do one theoretical here because there are so many decks I wanted to build around. I wanted to try the Reanimator deck around Predators. I wanted to try as many commands as I could. But then I realized that a lot of the decks are really centering around getting one combo or another off. And so, being the party pooper and spirit of denial that I am, I decided I'm kind of had it with those, and I'm gonna just do mono white control. So this deck is not gonna do well against fair decks. In fact, that is kind of why we have a lot of board wipes because of that. So we have, well, not that many: 2 Rats, 2 Doomskars, a single Settle the Wreckage, a single Day of Judgment. Basically, we have all these extra rats to they all have these rat effects against the fairer decks. Against the unfair decks, so what we have, Mana Tide for early because a lot of people like to play, all the combos tend to center on non-creatures. That's why you have 3 copies of Talia. A lot of the combos center on bringing creatures into the battlefield without cost, so 4 copies of Containment Priest. A few of them are about casting spells from elsewhere, so 2 copies of Dranet Magistrate. Actually, I kind of cut this down to 2 because of the Time Warp ban, but if I see another Mystics Mastery deck come in here, I might actually just cut the Strict Proctors. This one's a not to ETB triggers, but I haven't seen that many quite yet. Although, this is another way to block out the Dragonstorm Reanimation combo, or at least make it expensive enough. And what do we have here? And a few copies of Redain. We can play it on either Volkmir or Redain side based on what we need. In case of emergency, we have the 9 lives Solemnity combo, but we don't have that. We're not devoting too many slots to that. We have an Idyllic Tutor in case we need to tutor any of these parts. Our main win conditions essentially Approach of the Second Sun, but we do have a Heliod which we can also tutor in case we can go that route. We also have a Legion Angel plan. We're not going the full 4. Usually 3 is enough. We also have Karn to get some extra cards in case we need them. Typically, it's Tormod's Grafdigger stage. But we also have other cards like Meteor Golem and Platinum Angel, depending on the situation. There's a Strixhaven Stadium, although I doubt we're going to win by this one. I'm just leaving it here as a test. I'm kind of blanking out on what else to put. And we also have a single copy of Starnheim Unleashed, as well as 2 copies of Emeria's Call. 2 copies of Ardenvale to give us tokens, and because we're playing mono white and don't have that much card draw, 2 copies of Arch of Oraska, and 4 copies of Secluded Sleep. Let's hope we don't draw into these, or let's hope we don't get too many of those early. I've done some testing with it. That's how I figured out that we're actually bad against fair decks. We're kind of good against unfair decks, but we'll see. Or at the very least, it creates the incentive that don't just build around your combo, build some ways to interact with your opponent, or else you might just run into a denial. Again, making the most advantage of this: 6 mythics, 37 rares, only 8 non-rares at this point. So, opponent keeps. I kind of want to draw into more lands, but we do have a few early plays. Okay, there's one. This might be cycling, which would be actually very interesting, but more often than not, it's Jeskai. So I'm tempted to just pass here, but usually the Jeskai deck that I don't think they have play a tree. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the Talia. If our opponent plays a kill spell on that, it definitely slows it down. Okay, there's very powerful utility spell number 1, Brainstorm, so at least any future Brainstorms will cost more. So at least we have a plan of just kind of leading off on Legion Angel. So at the very least, the typical removal, Prismari Command, So Electrolytes, those will be expensive. Lightning Helix, also expensive at this point. Stomp. Our opponent will need an actual shock if they're gonna take it out now. So Fairy's Protection. Also note our Mana Tide also gets more expensive, but that's kind of fine. In fact, I'm gonna swing now. I don't see the need to worry about ETBs if I'm remembering this deck correctly. So I'm actually going to just pass. Yeah, opponent might be going for the Torrent Sculptor, though I think that it's more often than not it's Mystics Mastery. So Dranit Magistrate would be a good hit. So I'm kind of hoping to hit an extra land at this point. Let's see if our opponent goes for the Mystics Mastery now. Well, Mystics Mastery into Opus is actually still very good, so I'm actually hoping that they do go for it. Now, there is an alternative. I could be running Vryn Wingmare instead of Talia, so... Actually, no, it does the same thing. It also hits us badly, so I'd rather stick with the cheap Talia. I think, yeah, our opponent's probably going for it now. Yeah, it's looking like there are not that many ETBs, so the Proctors might go in favor of more Magistrates. Let's see if our opponent goes for the Mastery. Okay, there's the red, so that looks like a Mastery. I know it's not Indomitable Creativity. Stuff to name the card. Okay, so we missed our mana drop. I'm actually hoping our opponent tries to kill this one. It'll cost them a lot of mana. It lets me drop the Dranit Magistrate, and here's the Prismari Command. You know what? Okay, here's the thing. If they do go for Mystics Mastery, let's say they kill this, they go for Mystics Mastery next turn. They get Opus. That's pretty much the only one they get. I can play the Dranit Magistrate now. Just, you know what? We'll let that resolve. We'll see what other stuff they have there. The key part is that Mystics Mastery just gives them permission to cast. It doesn't put it directly on stack. So more Opuses. And if our opponent doesn't have a kill spell yet, we do have a live Mana Tide. Now, that said, our opponent does have an extra treasure, so Mana Tide's not gonna quite cut it. Then again, when our opponent went for this, Mana Tide wasn't gonna cut it anyway. So that's probably the weakness of this deck. Also kind of weak that we are that we have not drawn a single land at this point. I kind of brought it to like 20. Torrential Gear Hulk. Okay, we'll counter it. So, knowing that our opponent has that, I can play the Strict Proctor now because it enters the bat. Yeah, we're gonna play the Strict Proctor now since we know that they have ETB triggers. This will not. So they have to kill this to nuke the Mastery. Okay, so they're on that plan already. Yeah, we really need hit lands. And the interesting thing is we got our opponent to spend a lot of resources. So that's one Mastery out. Our opponent gets to. Well, they sniped this Proctor, so it's not a big loss. We do have a token to worry about. I can just play Legion Angel and chump block it for a time being. More importantly, our opponent is down to... Hold on. Our opponent is down to a single card for all their troubles. Well, no, they're back up to 3. So, yeah, missing those land drops kind of hurts us. So we're gonna see what our opponent does next. I can at least have Fairy's Protection to buy myself some time. Yeah, opponent hitting everything's a bit of an issue. We're definitely gonna save that protection for as long as I can. Rat is a bit premature if you ask me, but... Okay, there's an approach. I'm gonna cast this now. Maybe our opponent actually does have counter spells, but I'm pretty sure that's not likely. So we can kind of buy time. Yeah, Lightning Helix, but we get another Brainstorm. Okay, opponent looking for more stuff. Actually, it's an argument. This is a good argument to go white-blue. Having Narset is really perfect for this case. Yeah, unfortunately, we missed a lot of land drops. Opponent is making all their land drops, but I think they might... Well, the problem is they just need good spells. They don't need to have too many cards in hand. We are suffering from the exact opposite problem where we have too many cards in hand. So I guess I can play this again, eat another spell, which I'm actually fine with at this point. We're only getting beaten down by a 4-4 right now. Opponent has the memory lapse, but that takes them down to, well, so they'll be up to 2 cards under draw step. Still a bit precarious, if you ask me. So a trick we can do is, if our opponent goes for the Magma Opus and on our upkeep, we can just cast Containment Priest off that. It won't stop tokens, but it will mean that the mana is not wasted. Okay, opponent doesn't go for that. Concerned they might have another memory lapse, but I have to go for it at least. They probably just have back-to-back memory lapses, which is an issue. In this case, could just be another Lightning Helix. So the other thing we could have done is just settle the wreckage. That probably would have been a... Actually, no, we would not be able to hold up settle the wreckage. Yeah, we just got badly hit by land, so there's an issue. We could add mana rocks to fix this one. I wouldn't know what to cut. Probably the strict proctors. I could just cut the proctors in favor of in favor of, say, a few lands, but we'll leave it as this for now. Because we've been able to deny at some point, we just never got to really go off. So an argument would be like Gift of Estates. That's a very good way to get out of a mana slump. I'm actually really considering that right now. So turn 1 step. Actually no, turn 1 Castle Arden Vale. Because if we draw planes, regular planes, we can play something else and worry about cycling later, because we do have a ton of two drops. Opponent on mono green elves, so the Wrath of God is gonna be good. I'm actually gonna play the Talia now. Basically, this encourages our opponent to, well, which could be a mistake, but normally they're after Coco. If they decide to go wide, it basically encourage them to go as wide as possible. So at least we're hitting our lands. So I'm actually gonna play this as is. And we'll hold back the Containment Priest. Usually this is the part where our opponent starts dropping Elvish Archdruid. Okay, that's fine. Opponent probably swings with just the Dwynen's Elite, which gives me a reason to throw the Talia in front. Basically, that would be a good time. opponent's reconsidering it. I might actually just take it for now. Okay, so we hit the 5 mana. Yeah, so we're creating the illusion that we're in trouble. I'm basically just trying to avoid getting hit by a large Coco since our opponent's about to hit a lot of mana. Actually, our opponent has all the mana now, but we'll see how he taps it out. Opponent just going wide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So each creature becomes a 5/5. So I'm actually gonna play this now. Give me a second blocker. Doesn't. So basically minimize the damage for as much as possible since our opponent can tap this. They chose not to. I guess it makes sense not to. They might go for the Coco now, which I would like to see happen. Okay, so we hit a Redain, but we're gonna save that for later. Just hoping that there is no big way to give indestructible. Opponent just... Okay, so they are gonna drop Coco. Yeah, I figured that was gonna be the case. So what do they hit? 2 Elvish War Masters. Only 1 trigger, so... Oh wait. This trigger... Okay, so it's each trigger. So we get hit for 6. Next turn, I have 2 choices. I can... Depending on the mana, if I draw 1 more, If I can draw 1 more, I would play the Valkmira side. Since our opponent has too much mana at this point. Ooh, but I think we're out. I think we might be dead already. Unless we can hit another rat. Because we're down to 4. Yeah. So... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're dead. So yeah, having 1 piece of the lock is not so great. I would have preferred to have more. Actually, I only have a single Solemnity versus the double 9 lives. Generally, you'd want to have more. So, and ironically, those are what I would consider the fair decks. Though, yeah, the first deck, the first matchup against Jeskai, that was the unfair deck. We did not get the mana going. Another elves deck. Looks like everyone's building elves. Probably should have played this one first. If our opponent does play something about ETB, I will play Strict Proctor. Since our opponent's kind of far away from hitting how do you say this? Kind of far away from hitting Coco at this point. Yeah, so Garen Briggs, so Fauna Shaman. This might be a slightly unfair version. I'm gonna let that resolve. Yeah, in hindsight, I probably should have played the step first. I am in serious need of mana. And this only puts it in hand, so that's something to consider. So next turn, step, play another Strict Proctor, basically lock down the ETB, lock down as many ETBs as we could muster. Opponent might have a kill. Yeah, that would be a bit odd, but usually for elves, but it is not impossible. So opponent's gonna hit us for 3. So we're just gonna take our beats early for now. would have loved Mana Tide early. I'm tempted to play Strict Proctor, but our opponent is about to Coco, so I'm actually gonna just... I'm going to encourage the attack more or less, because Containment Priest blocking Elvish Archdruid is fine also. But yeah, we did make a mistake. I could have easily... Well, actually with this much mana, I probably would not be able to hold up Mana Tide anyway. Also, the annoying thing is that collected company is an instant, so I'm only trying to take advantage of an opponent being very greedy. So we are just waiting for our opponent to make a decision here. They could also just well, they need to Manwar Visionary. That's actually very plain. I'm gonna let that slide because they can tap this to draw a card if they want to. So they're gonna forego the card draw. They now have the mana to essentially Coco. So we're gonna just take the tree for now. But yeah, missing mana. I'm already of one mind to... Probably gonna start holding back at this point. Yeah, missing the mana is a really big deal. Now, if they're smart, they fail to find. Yeah, that's what Containment Priest is for. Now we're gonna see if they go for a very big spell. Actually, they can go for Crater 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have a lot of mana. They can essentially Crater Hoof and knock. Well, they can Crater Hoof, but I don't think they can get the ETB. Okay, they're doing the discard now. So, going for something cheap. Actually, that's a very weird one. Okay. So we're... So, no blocks. I'm still gonna take. Okay. Collected company. Okay, sure. Yep. Oh my... Though, that's a bit funny. Our opponent did not learn from the first... opponent did not learn from the first one. Fell into the second one. So we're definitely foretelling Doomscar. So we are going to just block... We are going to just block everything at this point. It's also possible... But hey, Containment Priest knocking out Coco. Twice. Moral victory. Okay, so let's check how much mana our opponent has. And combine it. Okay, so... We are gonna Mana Tide. Because that means our opponent will not have enough mana to pay for any of the ETBs. And next turn, we're trying to reduce as much damage as possible. So yeah, we're taking 5 no matter how I block. So it is what it is. we dodged the big bullet there. We got another land. So Doomscar first. And probably play Strict Proctor. So let's see if our opponent can survive off the top of their library. They generally can, but they've discarded a lot of resources to get there. Elvish Archdruid. So... actually, I'm gonna go Karn. So let's reread Grafdigger's Cage. Can't enter... cards in graveyards or libraries can't enter the battlefield. So our opponent can still get come back after all this. We got 5 mana here. Next turn, I'm probably gonna just... I might play Strixhaven, get the Strixhaven Stadium just to have... Just to have mana. That's an auto block. Ranger's Guile. Okay, that's a weird one-off, but I'll take it. So
my allies are counting on me.
Now testing to see if this one works. Oh, I should not play Solemnity if I'm gonna play this one. So I'm seeing a lot of non-bows here. I probably should actually just foretell this one. So we're gonna lose the Karn, but that's kind of okay. Karn did his job. Does it take out the counter? No, it does not. It has to deal damage to me. Health Collector. Sure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So X equals 3. So we might be able to stave off things for a while. Want to place another Elvish Archdruid. So far, everything's smaller. Oh, we got our Legion Angel in, so... So we got our Legion Angel package started. Also, we can attack on air because Vigilance. So I'm actually not gonna bother. I'm gonna just make things more expensive, considering what's the situation. I'm probably gonna just drop a Talia. I don't think the Mana Tide's gonna get it like last time. And opponent concedes. We actually managed to beat a fair deck, so I'm actually very glad for that one. Whew. Yeah, so probably be careful with the Solemnity. I think I only have one copy of that, but I've drawn it both times so far. It is an argument for making this a YORION deck. I would have to make this at least 30 plus lands, so 23 plus 10 lands plus 10 cards. Don't think I need it quite yet. I can see an argument for it, but I don't. But what I can see is that if I were to do that, I probably would add like another Strict Proctor, another Dranet Magistrate. I'd up the 9-life Solemnity combo a bit. The extra lands would be interesting. I probably would add Gift of Estates as a result. So once again, another 2-lander. Well, we'll keep this. So far that's all we've been getting. We won't be able to rule Halo, but it will give me options between Strict Proctor, Talia, Containment Priest. Depends on what their opponent's up to. Okay, now this one is all non-creatures. for the most part. There are some creatures, but not that many, so that's a definite Talia play. Now, it does mess with our Starnheim Unleashed, but we'll try to mess up with this as much as we can. So next turn, I need to hold on to this Rune Halo for as long as possible, or just let our opponent concede. Okay. So I was gonna say that I need to hold on to the Rune Halo as long as possible to figure out how our opponent's gonna take us down. Nowadays, it's probably with Jace or something, but yeah, we just have to keep delaying them at that point. Yeah, spirit of denial. No, when I say no, I mean no. We honestly didn't have the best hand there. Though the math is interesting with Talia plus Starnheim Unleashed, like, okay, you're assuming the foretell is not there, but it is quite pricey if you do. So, not the best hand. Turn 2 Doomst. We'll see if our opponent's aggro. If our opponent has any semblance of aggro, this is a turn 2 foretell, turn 3 good Doomst card. Having a few extras of these is a nod for the Gideon's nod for against Meddling Mage, Gideon's intervention. Opponents on the mill plan. Okay, so this is Mill Reanimator. So I might try ratting the board once before dropping Dranet Magistrate to lock it out. It's not pure lockout. I'm pretty sure actually it depends, because I've seen a lot of versions of this. They're really all in. They don't care about how your opponent interacts. I want to see what their next drop is. Stitcher Supplier number 2. So I guess I played the Strict Proctor. Now. I'm trying to think of what 3 mana spell. Because if our opponent foretells, that's a 4 mana reanimation spell. Can see other stuff like, say, Blood for Bones, so we are 1 man into the Afterlife. When you control dice, gain 1 life if you do discard a card. Search your only if there's 6 or more. Okay, so we're gonna help our opponent out a little bit here, then we're gonna do the Dranet Magistrate. We're gonna force our opponent to kill it somehow. In fact, we get Dranet Magistrate plus Mana Tide, so that's something. So all of a sudden, our Doomscar and Day of Judgment is not looking good. And the other thing is that God-Fear's Gift exiles the card. So they will actually get a 4/4 copy of that. So actually letting this Gate of the Aether Life get through is a big bummer. Now this is not an so we're actually gonna accept the 4 damage here. So we're going to resolve, sack a Strict Proctor. We have Idyllic Shooter, but we don't have either piece of the combo. Opponent's just gonna get more cards out of there. So what's the other one they can take? Jin Gitaxias is a big problem, and we have no outs for that. I probably will just have to let them draw a lot of cards. Also, that doesn't help that we're flubbing on a lot of lands. So I'm actually gonna just attack here. I'm no reason to block at all. And also Shield Dread, it blocks Shield Dread for the most part. It doesn't block God Pharaoh's Gift though, so... Oh! Wait, how does this work? Target creature... Oh, can't cast. Okay, so it doesn't block it. So, I'll be forced to discard everything next turn. And the problem is our opponent just gets another one. Yeah, we're playing from behind. And our opponent's gonna have full deck there. I don't think the trophy mage is really just for Gate to the Afterlife. Yeah, that was the one card we should have locked. We didn't. We've been also missing a lot of lands, so it is what it is. Yeah, I'm already considering Gift of Estates. I'm already considering the 80 card version of this. One has another gate. So we get to kind of Doomscar everything before we lose our entire hand, so that's a bonus. Sacrifice. Play a land. Day of Judgment. Does it give it haste? It gets haste, so we're gonna go down to 2. And our opponent gets to... Turns out God Pharaoh's Gift dodges this. I forgot it makes it in tokens. Actually... And yes, it's not Granite Magistrate I want. It was Containment Priest that knocks out the... So what I can do is I can put a Strict Proctor in, if only to block stuff, but I will need double blockers. I'm gonna draw 7 again. They're gonna go down to 14. So we just need to survive long enough, which is not gonna happen with... Yeah, we need ways to... And this is also triggered, so if I draw a card now, that doesn't do anything. Yeah, 5th mana. Opponent gets a token. Actually, what I can do is I can Doomscar now. Play the Strict Proctor. Unfortunately, Idyllic Tutor doesn't help us here. We're just kind of surviving for the long haul. Got our opponent down to really low though. In terms of cards at least. Let's see, does our opponent can just get back another... They can also get back a Platinum Angel, which is an issue. And they got back 2 cards, so we can call this good game. We needed... The Gate to the Afterlife was the problem. Also, I think I underestimated how many creatures were in the yard. With Karn, I would have gotten Tormod's Crypt. That would have been the key there. So at least we're learning about this one. Yeah, definitely I want to make this an 80 card version. It feels less consistent, but considering that most of the time our problems are mana based, I actually like the idea of bumping this up to like 32, 33 lands. Okay, this is kind of keepable. We got turn 1 mana. Well, we don't exactly have a turn 1 mana tide. I can play turn 2 and I can hold between Mana Tide and Containment Priest. So it's possible our opponent has a shock. So I'm gonna test it out. Yeah, they have something. they'll probably shock this Containment Priest, and which will misfire a clever Luminancer once, so I'm okay with that. Basically, the fewer spells we can get out of this, the better. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to take hits with this. I don't... I'm gonna take a big hit off this one. I'm also about to... Well, at least this one's always limited, so I'm actually gonna just name the Clever Luminancer. Because this is the one that will grow exponentially big. No, I did not name Lava Runner. Because this one really... Well, there could be pump spells, so it... And it also looks like our opponent is... Ooh. They need another red. Okay, take 2. They probably cast the other Gitu. Or they could just... Yeah, they're gonna chuck it at the base now. So we hit 4 mana. So... Karn doesn't do much. Granite Magistrate... It locked... The Magistrate locks out this Lava Runner. Opponent's about to have a Lava Burn though. Lightning Helix. Yeah, we'll make him pay for it. So the good news is we're still only like taking 4 at most from here instead of a huge amount of damage. I kind of wish I had a way to copy this. No, there is a way to copy this. It's in blue. Yeah, at least I've mitigated this one. However, let's say I get Karn. What do I get out of this? I need more mana. I can nuke their graveyard to drop these down to 2. I guess I'll do that.
I will rid you of your corruption.
So it's Mage. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I kind of need a rat soon. Yeah, he might as well hold back. That's not doing anything. So even if our opponent throws a burn spell at us, we've still saved 2 damage. And our opponent willing kind of let this one go, so I think we're... Okay, so we hit our 5th mana.
I will not lose another friend.
We're not going to get to either of these soon, so I'm actually going to take the Stadium. Cast out the Stadium. Then cast Strict Proctor, give us an additional body. It's more for buying time. Because we can go down to 4. Opponent has Wizard's Lightning, so we could still be dead. So I'm kind of looking for either a Rat effect or mana. That does nothing. Remember. Oh wait, no, it does something. It which is fine. Yeah. So another Luminancer. Please. It's a Strict Proctor. Yeah, we needed to hit a rat in time. We did not. So unfortunately, we still have to keep the Approach of the Second Sun. Yeah, it's looking like mana is the #1 issue that this deck has. So but kind of odd. So far, aside from that one Magma Opus deck in the very beginning, every other deck we've hit has been relatively fair. Not that I kind of don't mind that actually, because it means that we don't have to worry too much about all the odd combos here and there. Okay, we're definitely keeping this one. So we got no turn 2 play, so I'm okay with just Plains holding up Mana Tide. The question is, do we play as Redain or play as Valkmira? And do I try to cycle this? Probably not. Because now the plan seems to be hold up for as long as possible. I would cycle this now. I kind of want to have something. Okay, we got another thing, so that's actually not a bad trade-off. So we're actually going to wait a bit. Our opponent seems to be super controlling. Sweet Swarm. No. So I see an argument for playing Valkmira now, because since I know our opponent's aiming for creatures, I can also just play the Solemnity since I don't exactly have counter strategies now. Let's play Solemnity. I kind of want our opponent to play creatures now since we already got the Day of Judgment. Looks like our opponent's just playing. Okay, there's the ramp, but that's fine. So next turn, if I can draw one more mana, it's. Yeah, we hit the Doomscar. So we're gonna put this. I can play this one, make things more expensive. So let's see. Definitely. Wait, we already played it out. Actually, we only have 5 mana. So I kind of want to. Let's make everything more expensive. So it includes our Mana Tide. Also, locking down their lands is not so bad. So right now, a Wrath actually costs 7. Yeah, and there's no reason to play Snow Covered unless you're playing Blood in the Snow. You probably want to have regular. Oh yeah, but oh, Lilac World Sculptor. Kind of dodged, but then again, our opponent was playing Scoot Swarm, so the idea really was to go wide. So we're gonna deny them 1 mana a bit. We do hit Heliod. So the plan is to take some damage early, or at least wait until our opponent has a wipe in hand. Oh, and Solemnity doesn't add the counter, so it's literally just the Phylat. Opponent's also holding back though. Okay, so we're definitely gonna play this as a land now. We won't get counters out of Heliod, so it's a dud. But we will gain life, which is kind of important for me. So yeah, it doesn't matter. Nothing happens. I'm fine with that actually. So opponent goes Graven Lord. They're digging for something. Oddly enough, so are we. The nice thing is though that we did hit City's Blessing, so we can start kind of we can start drawing cards if we need to. Yeah, random one-off Solemnity. Actually, this is... I did not expect to see this deck, so our opponent not expecting to see this one also. And in fairness for our opponent, we only have 2 copies of 9 lives, so I don't expect that. So our opponent actually gets to scry more because of the excess cost, so you have to think as opponent. Opponent plays Blood in the Snow, so they destroy all creatures, they will get something back. That's fine. They get Scoot Swarm. They chose to get Scoot Swarm back instead of File. I guess not. So we can play another Talia, but I guess we can pass for now. We're kind of at a healthy light. I want to see our opponent go off a bit so that we can, because we don't have many rats. We only have like about 7 in total. So I want our opponent to go off a little bit. I haven't seen them hit any combo card except just more Scoot Swarms. And pass. Okay, my turn. So we draw a card. Well, we're drawing all our wrath effects, so I don't think that seems to be a problem. And probably gonna play the one Talia now. Opponent's gonna be incentivized to remove it, which I'm fine with. Blood in the Snow. By let's do the whole thing again. Probably gonna be wondering how many more of this I have. Containment Priest, not much of help. Opponent can only hit us for 2 right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's play it safe. Because I can always Containment Priest and I can always Containment Priest out of turn anyway. Opponent goes for the Graven Lore again. I will have to say our opponent's deck is interesting. Scoot Swarm aside, but our opponent's down to... Opponent's probably wondering how many more rat effects could I possibly have. If our opponent goes off again with like another Phylat, okay, that's fine. Massive Nexus. Okay, so there is a combo potential here. So I need to see what is the card that combos with this. And I probably should just Wrath the board anyway at this point. So yeah, might as well just go for the... Actually, we'll just do the Wrath. And foretell this. And then creates this. Okay. Kinda off timing, but no real choice around that one. Opponent plays yet another Phylath. We are running out of this though. So the only advantage we have is that no... Ooh. Okay, next life. So 13, 14, 15. So we go down to... Ooh, go down to 4. It's actually a very good combo. I approve. So that's actually a very interesting combo wise. Do we have any ways of preventing this? Not really. We don't have instant speed rat effects, but But we did buy quite a bit of time. I guess the issue was the Masswood Nexus. We would have needed to remove that. It does create an argument for replacing the strict proctors with, say, Skyclave apparitions, because that will still hit. But all in all, I don't mind this as a deck. It's worth an interesting try, but it also shows that no matter how much you try to say no, you can only say no so far. That's even true with the counterspell decks. Like, the only way you're in trouble is if you're playing spells 1:1. That one's an issue. Also note that 9 lives does not save us from that, so something to remember. Our opponent does mill first, so I will go for Mana Tide first. We are in no hurry to 9 lives. So I can make it look like we kept a really bad hand, though no opponent's gonna believe that. I also have to say that for some... Okay. So we did draw another Plains. So I am incentivized to cycle the step now. Yeah, let's cycle the step. Let's see what our opponent takes. Oh wait, Mana Tide. Yeah, that's actually the threat of Mana Tide. No, we're about to cast. So we're gonna make our opponent use up all their mana, then we'll make them decide. So if we lose the 9 lives combo, it's not a big deal. If we lose the Wrath, that's interesting. We're probably gonna lose Heliod. Also, I also went for the okay, opponent actually takes Redain, so I am gonna go for Heliod. 9 lives can add 2 more pips, but we don't actually have that many permanents, keep in mind. Mindstone, opponent is now ramping. If we can hit 1 more mana, we can ruin our opponent's ramp quite a bit. Oh, I think our opponent's an oops all spells deck. Okay.
Until you have lived as a statue, do not.
And I also forgot to put the... Let's
Let's
see. Okay, here's the interesting part. I don't remember what an oops all spells deck has. Like, it wants to not hit lands. So I don't know which of these are gonna work. Since mana is an issue, I'm gonna just take the Stadium, but that's probably the worst possible thing I can do. I probably could just have a Mind Stone or something else. The only advantage I have now is that I've basically locked this Mind Stone out, so our opponent's still at 4 mana. We're seeing a lot of interesting combinations, don't get me wrong. Hit another Wrath, not exactly what I want to hit. I do want to play the Stadium now.
Stand down.
So I might just go for the Grafdigger's Cage just to have something. Only because I really have no idea what our opponent has. Opponent has Maze Mind Tome into a Weather the Storm, so then... Okay, I really have no idea what our opponent is up to, but it looks like we locked it out. Actually, I don't even think we locked it out so much as we just... Yeah, they play the Maze Mind Tome that does nothing. Yeah, they're just living off the top. So we got a few wins there, but as far as an experiment goes, not quite viable. What would probably make this deck more viable would be some of the cards that are not available right now. So, just a quick look. So the Swords to Plowshares, that would be a very key card to add here. Actually, we can try making let's try making an 80 card version now. What would it look like? So with this one, I would need to add another 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think 9, that makes it 30. 31, 32. That's 32 lands. I guess we can make it safer by adding another one. Yeah. Okay, though actually maybe not too many Castle Arden Vales. Steps okay, arches, probably another arch, I guess. No, let's just add another plains here. So if I were to make an 80 card version, so what would the changes we'd add there? So first up, we will up the 9 life Solemnity combo by 1 each. We will probably add more Wrath effects. So I do like the idea of splitting them. So another Day of Judgment, another Wrath of God. That doesn't leave us that many slots here, but it does give us the option for, where's that? Gift of Estates. So this one ensures all our later plans. Another idyllic shooter would fit here. Then we would just round out some of these other cards, like another Dranith Magistrate, another. We already have all 4 Containment Priests though. Another Redain, and probably even another Rune Halo. Basically, the enchantments that have double costs are great. Some of the creatures with double costs are great too. We could actually just up the Starnheim by 1. So if you want to, so probably not that many Dranith Magistrates. Again, any balance between these two, probably an addition. Talia would be fine. This would be how I would do it if I make it 80 card version, but between the 60 and the 80, you get a little bit more redundancy, but there is some risk. Basically, the only true additions the Gift of Estates, and there is an argument for just running. And there's probably a better argument for just running, say, Birth of Miletus instead. Can't pronounce. Also, 22 planes actually very risky, way too much. So we probably would want 4 copies of Desert of the True instead. So basically more cyclers, basically ways to churn out, basically ways to take advantage. Use these as lands if you can, draw cards if you can't. But oh yeah, and Authority of the Consuls would probably be nice, since we're seeing a lot of we're seeing a lot of aggro decks. Also, this is a good enchantment, so we could probably bin the Strict Proctor in that sense here. So cut those. I guess I would still go 1:1 this. We can just rely on the tutors instead, since we're not in a hurry to assemble the combo. Famous last words. And I guess we can just go for off Talia. So do check out this suggested additional deck list. It will be an separate link. But that's all for this episode of Magic Arena Run. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, turn on notifications and whatnot. And as always, I really don't like that the logos changed. Please, you did this right before Wizards. Give us our actual mana symbol markers back. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. Take care, God bless, stay safe wherever you are. Have a great day, everyone. Actually, have a great week. Have a great weekend as well. May your days be great.